Hi, Taurus Sisters. It's Amy K. Gunther from TaurusSisters.com. In this video, let's talk about Passover and the Feast of Unleavened Bread. And some of you I know are already saying, Amy, it's too early. The spring feasts are not here yet. I disagree. I think it's perfectly fine and wonderful to not only start thinking about the spring feast, but to start looking forward to them and planning for them. As the homemakers in your home, as the woman of your home, it's your job really to plan it out under your husband's authority, under your husband's guidance. But most of the day-to-day operations, I guess, of the feast are going to be up to us. And so we, especially women, we need to plan ahead. We need to plan things out. I have a lot of resources. First of all, the magazine. I just want to remind you the magazine. And then we'll go through a list of things that you can start planning and thinking about now. Even though it's only halfway through February, you know how this is, well, what's going to happen. It's going to fly by and it will be here before you know it. So first of all, because I could never say everything in one video, we'll make more videos, but the magazine is your best resource. Go to store.TaurusSisters.com, subscribe, and I will mail you this issue. And it is almost entirely about Passover. It has lots of ideas of things that you can do. One of the best things that you might like, in this issue especially, is I have these calendars. I call them moon phase calendars. It's Gregorian with the moon phases on it. You can use this as a countdown to the feast. It'll start with a March one. You can also get the previous issue that has February if you want it. But so you subscribe now, and then when March comes, you can start like a Passover countdown for yourself and for your family. You can cut this out of the magazine, cut this page out, and then there's one for April too. So just use it as a countdown. Put in here in the white space which day your Passover meal will be and make it a countdown. Let the kids come and cross it out. Let them pay attention to the moon, especially as you approach the new moon of Aviv, the first month of the year, the biblical new year. Use the calendars to help count down. There's recipes in here, unleavened recipes, all kinds of stuff for the spring feast, for Passover and the spring feast, even decorating ideas. And if you really want to go crazy fun and be inspired, get the last two Passover issues. I have some left from last year and some from the 2023 Passover issue. These are limited stock. These might sell out. So you could have me ship you all three of like the spring feast issues. You can also download these for free if you want. It's a free download. I offer that as a courtesy. And to those of you who pay money and subscribe, thank you for supporting that side of my ministry so that people can download these for free. Some of the things, that you might want to start thinking about now. There's a lot to think about. Passover cannot just be done willy-nilly, like, oh, I'm going to throw it together the day before. Sometimes we can do that with Sabbath during busy seasons of our life. And honestly, if you're brand new to Passover and you're watching this the day before Passover, you could throw it together. You could make a really quick grocery run and get your bitter herbs and whip up some unleavened bread and have a Passover meal. But if you want to do it a little bit bigger, then you need to plan. Again, you only have to follow the Bible commands, but even some of those, you're going to carry them out better if you plan. And we see that throughout the scriptures. We see that people were planning for the feast. They were planning their travel around the feast, especially because they were to go to Jerusalem, which there's no temple. We don't have to do that now, but there's still a lot to plan, especially also because we're new to this. Most of us did not grow up doing this. We're learning and figuring it out. That's why I started the magazine, because I'm excited to learn and figure this stuff out, and I know you are too. Another resource I have is the Passover Kit. It is a free download at store.TaurusSisters.com, and I have checklists, shopping lists, the program that you read, the Haggadah, just about everything you need for all the minute details of planning out Passover. Passover Kit, go download it for free, because you're going to need to plan things like you might want to do the countdown calendar starting now. It's not too early to start planning your menu. It's not too early to start inviting guests. Think about who you want to invite to your Passover. Passover is often, I can't remember what day, I think most of us are going to do it on a weekday this year. And there's certain people you may want to invite, depending on your conviction about this, but they might need some time to plan ahead if it's on a Tuesday or a Wednesday. Not everyone is free every weeknight. So if there's certain people who you want to come to your Passover, They need some advance notice. You need advance notice. You need to be paying attention, looking ahead to when the feast is, so that that first day, the Passover kicks off the first day, and then the seventh day of the unleavened bread week, those are like, Sabbaths. They're like high holy days. They're days that you're not supposed to work. So you need to take those 2 days off work. And if you can, take the whole week off work so that the whole week is purely centered on worship and gathering and things like that. That takes planning. That takes working ahead on school, maybe talking to the teachers if your kids go to school, talking to your boss, talking to your family. And then you, during that week, plan things, get together with other believers, host your congregation in your home, rent a building or a gym, or plan something fun to do with your congregation. Some of you may want to travel. There are some congregations that will have gatherings, and you can go, kind of like Sukkot, you can go and join them. That definitely takes planning ahead. So these are just some of the things to plan ahead. Also, something a lot of people kind of forget to plan ahead is during the Feast of Unleavened Bread, after the Day of First Fruits, you're going to start counting the omer. And, I have videos on that, but that takes planning ahead, because a lot of us like to do it in, a cutesy way with a calendar or things like that. And I have ideas and downloads on the website, but that takes planning ahead so that during the feast, you're not like, oh, what omer counter are we going to use? And, it's classic, like we started a week late because we forgot. So I'm here to remind you, add that to your list of things to plan ahead. You also may especially want to start planning ahead decorating. I'm not very good at this, which you guys probably think like, oh, she's the Torah Sisters lady. She must decorate like crazy. I actually don't. But I do some, maybe this year I'll do more. If you like to decorate, it's fine to put out your decorations before the feast even comes. All of this builds anticipation in your home and family about the feast. All of this engages your husband and your children. Could we do this? Could we do that? And especially with your husband, looking again at your budget. What have you set aside for the feast? How much are you going to spend on the food for Passover, the food for the week, activities you want to do during the week? How much is left over to buy decorations? You can go to Dollar Tree and get a lot of spring decorations that aren't too much. But there's things to think through. There's things to look at. If you're brand new to Torah and you haven't been setting aside money for the feast every month, you might want to quick scrounge up some money. Is there stuff in your home that you've been meaning to sell and list on Facebook Marketplace? Sell it now and then use that money for your Passover meal. Because this is a time that we're supposed to rejoice and have the best of the best, and also take care of widows and orphans and give the Father the first of your fruits, the best of your best. So that a lot of that takes money, and that sometimes takes planning and time. So that's why I'm here on this little YouTube channel, to remind you it's time to start doing the things. One of the biggest reasons, sisters, as the women and the homemakers and the even if you have a job, you're still a homemaker. A lot of you do both, I know, but we set the tone in our home. We set the tone. And when we are rushing around like crazy and being stressed out, we don't present our best selves to our families and even our congregations. We will do better service, and that's what we are. We are servants to your families and your congregations and your communities. We will do better when we have planned, so that we're not crazy, so we're not forgetting things, so we're not neglecting things that we could have done instead of, watching that show or something. So, make your list of the things that are important to you. And then underneath all of those, you're going to have lists. I'm kind of a list person. And again, go get I have checklists and stuff that you can use my lists. But as you approach the feast, especially those last couple days, there will always be last minute stuff to do. But you want your family to approach the Passover meal with a humble, meek, contrite spirit that's at peace with Yah, that has gotten the leaven out of your home, looking for false teachings, looking for sin, and you've cleaned up. And so that when you come before Him at that Passover meal, you are, contrite. You have a circumcised heart before the Creator of the universe, who sent His Son Yeshua to die for you. And if we come in with the wrong attitude of being stressed out and, oh, I forgot this and I have to rush, and why isn't anyone helping me, and playing the martyr and all these things, we have missed the point of the Passover meal. So we want, as the Father gave us grace and saves us, we have that eternal security of salvation in spite of our sin. We need to be prepared to give that to those around us, and to love and to give grace to those. That requires being calm, being happy and joyful in our countenance and in our spirit, and even generous, even like having extra time to give extra to our families and our congregations and our communities. And to have that, I call that margin, that extra time, you have to plan. So back to the beginning, it is not too early to plan. I remember back when I did Christmas, I don't do Christmas anymore, but it's like this thing, right? Moms are always stressed out as Christmas approaches, and it ruins the Christmas spirit. We don't want to bring those bad things, those bad habits with us here. We're not substituting Passover for Christmas. Passover is a totally different thing. And we're going to approach it better than how the world approaches their special days. We're going to approach this with worship in the forefront of our mind, because it's all about remembering how Jehovah redeemed his people by taking them out of Egypt, and then how we have been redeemed through the blood of Yeshua from the second death. And if we approach that wrongly, we could be in trouble. So approach it rightly, plan for these things. And again, don't get too distracted from the core biblical commands. I'm going to talk a lot about all the fun stuff and the extras and, the icing on the cake, so to speak, of the spring feast, but always come back to those core issues of salvation, of redemption, of getting out the leaven. So, all right, sisters, I have talked enough. If you have questions, leave them down below. I don't always have time to answer questions, but a lot of you guys often are really good at answering each other's questions. And go get the magazines and go get the Passover kit. And you can download the Passover kit as many times as you want. I don't care. Same with the magazines. If you lost it before, you can go download it again. And today is almost Shabbat. It's prep day. Shabbat Shalom. Bye.